You're welcome to my Vivid Creations. So today we'll be making this beautiful ruffle that you can add to your sleeve or any part of your blouse. Okay, so any part that you want to actually look exaggerated, you can actually add this ruffle to it. So let me show you how I made it and how I attached it to the sleeve of this beautiful blouse. Okay, I will also be dropping a video on how I made this Igbo Madam blouse. Okay, George blouse. I'll show you how I made it, how I placed the George to achieve this beautiful setting you can see. Okay, so you are most welcome. So without taking much of your time, let's get right into the video. So I used organza fabric to make this. So I've cut out my organza fabric and I have two pieces here. Okay, so this side of the fabric measures 14 inches. Okay, so as you can see, it measures 14 inches and the length is 60 inches. Okay, and we have our crinoline here. So the crinoline is actually 2 inches crinoline. So now I'll place this together and stitch the both sides. Okay, so I'm just going to stitch the sides. That is, I place the two organza together and I'll stitch the sides. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing. So now after stitching, I'm going to turn it to the good side. Okay, so after stitching the both sides, you just turn to the good side of the fabric. So now this is it. You can go ahead and give it a good press. Okay, so you can just iron it out so that it can lie flat and it would enable you to be able to work with it. So I'll do just that and I'll show you the next thing to do. So I've ironed my organza and here I will now make use of my crinoline. So I'm going to insert the crinoline into this piping that I've made, into this fabric like this. I stitched the both sides, so we have something like a pipe. So I'm going to insert my organza into it. Okay, so just follow what I'm doing, just watch. Okay, so I actually place one of my hands inside so that I can pull the organza. So there are different ways to actually make these ruffles, but this is one of the easiest method. Okay, in this method you don't have to cut out flounce or make circles or all those things. So this one is actually very, very straightforward and very easy. So you can see I've pulled out my my crinoline. Okay, so I've pulled out my crinoline. So I'm just going to align it at that part that I stitched. Yes, this is just for one side. So I placed it this way, making sure that I merge it to the seam, okay, where I stitched. So right now I'm using pin to secure it so that it would stay in place. Okay, then I would adjust it, making sure that the crinoline is seated right at that seam. Okay, so just watch and see what I'm doing. Okay, so by the time I have arranged it and made sure that the crinoline is in place, I'll go ahead to stitch. Okay, so I'll just stitch on this point that I'm pointing at. I'm going to just stitch it down so that the crinoline will be fixed inside. Okay, so just keep watching. So as you stitch, you just adjust it, keep adjusting the crinoline. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. As I stitch, I adjust my crinoline, making sure that it is fitted into that seam, that area where I have my seam. Okay, so as I stitch, I will just arrange it. As I stitch, I will arrange it so that it will sit nicely there, because we want to achieve a very neat work. Okay, so you can see I'm making sure the crinoline is seated right there. So I'm just adjusting it, okay, putting it in place. So that is what I'm doing. So I'm done stitching this very side, okay, and I'll cut out the crinoline. So I'm just trying to make sure that this area is clean, okay. I'm cutting out the edges. So now, after stitching that other side, that is after stitching one side of the crinoline, I'll still go ahead and stitch this side, okay. Yes, because we don't want it moving, we don't want the crinoline moving. We want it to just remain at that point. We just want it to remain flat there, okay. So I'm going to also stitch down this side. So this is one way of achieving a neat ruffle using this method, okay. So I'm just going to stitch it down like so. So I'm done stitching it, and you'll see what we'll have there, okay. So the same thing I've done to this side, I'm also going to do to the other side, okay. So our crinoline is sitting in place, so I'm still going to do same thing to this other side. So I'm done stitching my crinoline on both sides, okay, and these all have. So now we're going to close up this part. So I'm going to pipe it. I've cut out a piece of fabric I'm using to pipe it. So I'm just going to stitch it on one side like this, okay. So after stitching it on one side, I will then flip it over and use it to pipe up that part. So I'm actually folding this side so that I can have neat edge at that point, okay. So I'm just going to stitch it down like this, then afterwards I would flip it over to pipe up that part, okay. So you can see I've stitched one side, so I'm actually going to trim this, okay, because it is too wide. I just cut out a piece of fabric without measurement, so I'm going to trim it so that by the time I pipe this side it will not be bulky. Okay, yes, so I'm actually going to still reduce it. So I'm just going to fold this way and fold it over again. Okay, so looking at this is still wide, so let's reduce it a bit more. So this is okay now, so I just fold it a little bit and fold it over the seam. Okay, then I'll go ahead to stitch it, top stitch, and we'll have a neat finishing at this point. So I'll also do same for the other side. So in this way we would have our crinoline inside and all edges would be neat. Okay, so that is it. So I'm just tucking this side, like tucking I'm tucking it in. So just to achieve a neat work there, so I'm just folding everything inside. Okay, yes, so what I've done here I'm going to do to the other side, then I'll show you the next thing to do. Okay, so I'm done stitching the both sides and you can see how neat it is. Okay, so everything has become one now. Yes, everything has become one. So now I'm going to get my hand needle and thread. Yes, so this is my hand needle and thread. I'm using a big needle, so you just pass your thread through it, knot it tightly. So I'm folding the fabric into two so that I would get the midpoint, that is the center. Okay, so because we're going to make a running stitch at the center, so at this point now just like make a stitch here so that your thread would not pull out. So I'm just trying to make a tight stitch here so that when I'm pulling at the ruffle the thread will not pull out. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. So after making the tight stitch there, I'll start making my running stitch, okay, at the center of this fabric. So you can see how I'm pulling it. Okay, so you make a running stitch from this point to the end. So that is it, just follow. Okay, So after making the running stitch, I would pull it. Yes, so when I pull it, it will then form this beautiful ruffle. Okay, so you pull closely, make sure you bring them together like you can see me do. Okay, so you can see what it has given us. Isn't this beautiful? So you can actually place this on your sleeve, you can place it anywhere on your dress. So I'm going to show you how I placed this on the sleeve. Okay, so you can see what we have here. So if you actually want a very big one, if you want it bigger than this, you can increase your measurement. Okay, so I used the width was 14 inches, so you can actually increase yours. So this is where I'll be placing it on my sleeve, so make sure you pull it well. So now I've not stitched down the sleeve. Yes, that is because I want to attach the ruffle to it. So I'm just going to attach it at this area. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to attach it at this area, still using the needle and thread I have on the ruffle. I've not cut it out, so I'm still going to use it to fix it on the sleeve. Okay, so I'm just like checking out which way or which side of the ruffle will be beautiful, will be more attractive on the sleeve. Okay, so you can just do what you want. So I'll just place it around this side. Okay, and you see what we'll have. So I made that a bit fast, okay, because I don't want the video to be too long, but it is just stitching your ruffle down there with your needle and thread the way you want it. Okay, so this is it on my sleeve. Yes, so in case you're wondering how I'll be stitching up the sleeve, this is how I do it. Okay, so now I will just flip it over this way and fold in my ruffle inside, that is just sandwich it into the sleeve like this. Yeah, remember it's on the right side of the sleeve and we're going to stitch up the sleeve on the wrong side, so this is just it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place it this way and stitch up my sleeve with the seam allowance I added. Yeah, so by the time I'm done stitching and we turn over to the right side, then you will see our ruffle. Okay, and that's just it for this video, and I hope you like it. Please give it a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. So if you're watching on Facebook, please like and share as well. Also follow for more. Thank you for watching. I would love to see you in my next video. Remain blessed.